Hi guys. Welcome to episode 2 of the Storytime Society Storytime series. We love this. Like, so fun. I definitely decided that I'm going to do There's so much cat hair on my microphone, it's crazy. I definitely decided that I'm going to do 2 episodes per week, but drum roll please. I don't know why I said drum roll. I'm also going to have a link below in the description for a Patreon, and there are 2 different tiers. You can get 1 video extra a week or 2 videos extra a week, depending on which type of member you would like to be. So become a Storytime Society member you already are if you watch these videos and you've subscribed, but it'll be like extra fun on Patreon because you'll get extra episodes and a community and like chance to tell your own stories on there, and I can tell them on here for you anonymously, if that makes sense. Okay. And then I also have a Reddit, obviously, that you can leave your stories on for free. But I'm excited, and we're gonna start with a pretty good story, I would say. But I just want to say, last time I said, like, take out your latte or take out your coffee, and it's going to be like coffee and story time. But then I realized after I got a comment that said that she needs these because she goes to sleep listening to them. And that was so cute to me. So I don't want to discriminate and be like, you can only be drinking coffee during this time. So, like, maybe take out your tea or your coffee, and if you're going to bed, like, I'm going to need to remember that some people are listening to this before bed, and try not to, like, scream into the microphone and be, like, relaxed while telling these stories. Also because it's story time. Like, I don't want to be crazy. We're supposed to be relaxing. You guys are, like, sitting on your little squares on the rug in front of me, and I'm your teacher reading you guys stories. Maybe not appropriate for that, but it's appropriate for you because you're on YouTube, so I hope you're old enough to be listening. But anyways, I'm gonna take a little sippy of my latte, and we can get this little story time started. Okay, not the best latte I've ever made, but what are you gonna do? We got cashew milk because I realized that the milk that we were drinking was regular milk, and it was a lot of calories, and I'm like, I drink a lot of lattes a day, so, like, do I want 3 times whatever the cup of calories is? I have problems. Don't listen to me. Anyways, we're going to start off with this story. Am I wrong for throwing my husband out after finding nudes from the nanny? I'm new to Reddit, but my little sister suggested I ask here. I'm 28, female. My daughter is Cassie, 11 months, and my husband is Alex, 35. So basically, it's just what the title says. I had Cassie and then returned to work as a psychologist, as I could never be a stay-at-home mom. I'm actually French, but live in the US, so when I returned at the 4-month mark, as I had a difficult birth, we looked around to find a nanny to look after Cassie whilst myself and Alex were at work. We saw a few girls, but then one of Alex's colleagues suggested his daughter, who had just dropped out of college. Let's call her Liv, 20, female. Everything went well. Admittedly, I did notice her being quite attached to Cassie, but I just brushed it off as a good friendship between the two. She also liked Alex. It was obvious she had a crush on him, always batting her lashes and giggling. I actually found it amusing, as I'm confident in myself, and he always laughed it off with me too. But then on Thursday night, he asked me to do something on his phone whilst he bathed Cassie, and I saw some pictures flash up from Liv. When I looked at them, they were obviously sexy nudes. She was wearing skimpy lingerie and in provocative poses. I looked back at the history, and she had been sending these for a while. As far as I can see, Alex never responded, but obviously texts can be deleted. When I asked him, he got defensive and told me to stop using my psychiatrist tricks on him. I was not happy with his non-answers, and it ended up in a shouting match, waking up Cassie. So I got him a bag and threw him out. Told him he's not welcome back until I have answers. I'm considering taking Cassie back home to see my family in France for a little bit. His mother and friends have been blowing up my phone saying I'm being too harsh and they were harmless texts. Nevertheless, I feel disrespected and that just doesn't fly with me. Was I too harsh? Should I accept his claims that he never responded? And then there's an edit. Not husband, fiance. Also, I'm not taking Cassie to France. We will visit my family for a few weeks, and Alex has given consent. I'm not? Okay. And then she says, I've posted a new update. So we're going to look for her update, and I'm going to tell you really quick what I think here. And I think that is bullshit. Because he should have absolutely told you that the nanny watching your child is sending nudes. Like, that's just BS. I mean, even if you didn't respond, you obviously liked them because you weren't doing anything about it. What the hell, brother? I mean, if that were me, I think that calls for breaking off the engagement, if I'm being completely honest with you. This little setup I have here is a little bit like, okay, there. I think that's better. I want to be comfy because, I'm relaxing. It's story time. Okay, so we're going to look at her updates right now. It's included there. Oh my god, she has a lot of comments. She is really, like, how do you expect me to find the update if you're responding to every single person on this forum? Oh my god, girl. This is actually crazy. Posts asking for an update, so I thought I'd let you guys know what's happened in the past few months, as I'm sure it will anger the men in the comments again. When aren't men angry? Sorry if you're a man. So after going to France to visit my parents immediately after what happened 6 months ago, I agreed with my family that I needed to come home to France with my daughter. Whoa, that is a change of events. My family said they would provide any help I needed with moving and lawyers, and my father said a prayer we never had the wedding as there was no divorce to have to go through. When I returned to the U.S., I informed my ex-fiance that there would be no compromise or discussion on my next steps. Cassie and I were returning to France, so I would have my support system closer and I wouldn't feel so isolated. I told him I'd never try to stop his relationship with Cassie, that he would be welcome to visit her in France depending on where he decided to live, and that I would happily bring her back to the States for visits periodically. However, I wouldn't compromise with Liv. If I found out she had been near my daughter, I would stop all contact between him and Cassie. I felt like after what he had put me through and now how he had respected me, I was quite gracious with my offers. Okay. Wait, sorry? I feel like we're reading a late update. You know? I'm trying to get like the real update. I mean, I think that one is just her. I think that one's the second update because that sounds like there's more to the story. Okay? So we're going to look and we're going to find it. Oh my god, there's a number one update. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. We're going to read this update first because I don't want to read that update if I don't know what happened in between. All right. Update number 1. I'd like to start this off addressing the comments stating I'm kidnapping my daughter. I'm taking her with me to visit my family back home in France for a few weeks. Her father has given his consent. It is a non-issue. There was also confusion about my job. I work in psychology fields and I was just using this post as a sounding board really. The responses from his friends and mother made me question myself. As stated, I informed Liv's father of what happened. He was furious both with Alex and Liv. He apologized to me and said he will try to get the truth from her and that she rebels any chance she gets, but this was disgusting. Why would you... That looks bad on you because you're the dad and you recommended her, and no wonder she dropped out of college if she's rebelling. I then looked through the camera in my daughter's nursery and I saw a clip of Liv asking if she wanted a sister or brother from Miss Livy and Daddy. What? That made me feel sick to my stomach. She responded to her dismissal with denials, but I told her I had the footage and that she was never going to lay a hand on my baby again. But if she wanted Alex so bad, she could have him. I reminded her that how you get them is how you lose them, and he would soon tire of a 20-something college dropout kid. Alex returned to the house temporarily for us to talk. After me showing him the camera footage and texts from Liv, he broke down and said he was really sorry. He admitted that whilst nothing had physically happened between them, they had been exchanging photos and messages for a month or two. He showed me the original messages and it was her who had pursued him. Who cares? She started by saying she felt like a schoolgirl around him. Barfing emoji. And said she needed advice from an important man like him and sent a photo of her in lingerie asking if it was sexy. He started out not really responding, but after a few texts, he responded and it started from there. She was saying things about them being a happy family together, but he never responded to those texts. He begged me to forgive him and start fresh. No. He said we can move and that we have plenty of money. He will do whatever I want. I told him what I want is to go home for few weeks, so that's what I'm doing. Cassie and I are flying out tomorrow. He honestly looks so pathetic right now. They are welcome to each other. There will be no wedding, and I will be consulting with a custody lawyer once I get to France to see my options both in the U.S. and internationally. But as someone in the comments said, I stayed in the U.S. not because I think it's a good place to live, but because that's where Alex was based and wanted to build our family. However, I will always support the daughter-father relationship, but he cannot have our daughter and his nanny. Now, that's not happening. I would like to move home and most certainly away from this slutty nanny. I am not looking for custody advice. Mini update from Liv's father. He has found and sent me some of the deleted messages. Liv talks about wanting me out of the picture so she can be Cassie's mom. WTF. Yeah, what? I'm sorry, you have an issue, girly? I want her out of the picture so I can be her mom. You will never be her mom. What? Are you good? Okay. So sorry, I read that second update. I started to read it before I read the first one, but I'm just going to read the full thing even though I already read like some of it. Okay, so update 2 from France. This was written June 22nd, 2023, so not that long ago. Almost like a year though. Actually, that kind of is a long time. Hi guys, thanks so much to all of you putting support and advice under my 2 posts. There are also some very obvious insecure incels in the comments claiming I'm kidnapping my daughter. You're giving my sister and I some great laughs. Anyway, for the update, Cassie and I have been in France for 2 days now. Oh, this is a completely different update. What is happening? What? Okay, sorry. It's been so wonderful to be back with my family after missing them for so long. They've been doting on Cassie, especially my mother and father, who even though are divorced, remain very amicable for the sake of my sisters and I. Mama had a whole room set up with toys and blankets for Cassie. I've also been loving the wine and cheese and gossiping with my sisters. It's been very good to let loose after all the stress, honestly. And I've gotten to ride my family's horse and show him to Cassie finally. Someone suggested I meet up with some old friends to go out and let loose, so that's exactly what I did last night. I had a great night meeting back up with some of my old university friends. We went out into the city, had some great food and wine, and went dancing. There's this one guy from our group who used to be very flirty with me back in the day. Anyways, one thing or another happened and we ended up going back to his place. It was good, actually. He listened to what I wanted and we were both very pleased at the end. Winky face. Cassie's happy, as am I. I'm meeting with a lawyer today and my ex has been ringing. I let him talk to Cassie whenever he wants, but I'm refusing to engage whilst I'm on my break. Edit. People need to calm down. I didn't say I had sex with him. Since people seem to want to know details, we went back to his, talked about life, and had a makeout session. Although it doesn't matter, as I had kicked my ex to the curb already. Also, Liv contacted me out of anger when Alex cut all contact with her to show that they had a one-night stand a few weeks before I found out. Oh my god, they're crazy. Alright, this is update number 3. Am I wrong for throwing my husband out? Okay, whatever. We already know that. Hi guys, a lot of you still comment on my old posts asking for an update, so I thought I'd let you guys know what's happened in the past few months, as I'm sure it'll anger some men in the comments. Oh my god, this was January 14th, 2024. We love that. So after going to France to visit my parents immediately after what happened 6 months ago, I agreed with my family that I needed to come home to France with my daughter. My family said that they would provide any help I needed with moving and lawyers, and my father said a prayer we never had the wedding as there was no divorce to have to go through. When I returned to the US, I informed my ex-fiance that there would be no compromise or discussion on my next steps. Cassie and I were returning to France, so I would have my support system closer and I wouldn't feel so isolated. I told him I'd never try to stop his relationship with Cassie and that he would be welcome back to visit her in France depending on where he decided to live, and that I would happily bring her back to the States for visits periodically. However, I wouldn't compromise with Liv. If I found out that she had been near my daughter, I would stop all contact between him and Cassie. I felt like after what he had put me through and how he had disrespected me, I was quite gracious with my offers. We managed to sort the move out in the next 2 months, and I signed an agreement which stated I was the primary custodian of our daughter and I made most of the decisions regarding her. It set out specific times Alex would be able to see or have Cassie. He basically agreed to all this because he thought once I had left the US, I would become more sympathetic and let him back in once we were in France, but I didn't bother to correct him frankly because it benefited myself. I found a really nice apartment a street over from my parents, so I moved in there once my parents and sister had helped me get it decorated before I came to France. We've been here for just over 4 months now, and Cassie is settling in great. She goes to daycare with my friend's son and has made great connections here with other kids. I'd forgotten how much more social the side of having kids was in Europe compared to the US. Once I was added to the parents group chat, the other mothers had immediately suggested welcome drinks to get to know me better, and I've made some amazing friends with other moms and dads. I didn't have any of this in the US. Maybe I should move to France. It's really helped Cassie's language skills as her French is developing much better than when it was just me speaking to her. I put her in a baby ballet like my parents did with me, and she's loving it. We've gotten a rescue cat called Walter, and Cassie adores him. He sleeps at the end of her bed and looks after her all the time. Alex has been over twice since, even though I had given him plenty more chances to see Cassie. However, he didn't take me up on them. For context, there's no issue with money or his passport to excuse why he won't fly. We spent Christmas with my parents and my sister and her partner, and it was just a lovely celebration after the shit that happened. I've started seeing one of the doctors from the new hospital I work in now. It's still relatively new, so she's met Cassie only briefly. She works in the emergency department, and she's honestly amazing. I did jokingly say Alex had put me off men, but didn't mean to take it so literally. Bisexual woman, shocking, I know. It's going slow as she knows what I've just come out of, but she's very laid back and goes with the flow type of person, which is exactly what I need. Wait, what? I started seeing one of the doctors. I still see so... Oh. Slay, girl. I didn't really process that for some reason because sometimes my comprehension isn't that great. Alex's mother is not happy as she is of the opinion I should have just ignored what happened between Alex and Liv. Ew. However, I'm not just a little American housewife who will ignore her husband's indiscretions. Thank you all for your advice and support in my initial posts. Edit. For all the Americans getting annoyed at the phrase little American housewife, not my words. I was quite literally quoting Alex's mother, and that is what she said to me. She is an American. She said when I was in her family, I was expected to act like a normal American housewife and forgive my husband like her and her daughter do. None of that European nonsense. It's really funny to see the men in the comments proving that there's still a double standard. I don't know why I, as the mother, am expected to stay in the country that doesn't speak my first language, where I don't have any family, little friends, no support, have to deal with Alex's family, all for his sake, so he doesn't have to make an extra effort to see his daughter when he was the one who decided to break the family in the first place. Literally preach, sister. Also, Americans, I'm sorry, I'm not insulting you. Again, please remember the no... Oh, sorry. What? The top comment is, I see this claim a lot, but has anyone ever actually suggested for their loved ones to post to Reddit for advice? Why not? I feel like if that were me and something crazy like that happened, I'd be like, girl, post that to Reddit and see what people say. Like, what? I don't think that's that crazy. But honestly, why are people being so mean? They're like, this is written like it's by an American teen who wants to move to Europe one day. And then someone said back, I'm loving the wine and cheese, because that's what the girl OP said in one of her posts. Says someone who grew up in France. What are we not believing her that she grew up in France? I swear people will attack you for anything these days. Like, what? And as a French, I can tell you finding a spot in daycare in France is almost impossible. The waiting list is insane. Some people start asking for a place when they found out they are pregnant. What? Okay, I'm so confused. Yeah, I'm doubting this one a little. I'm not usually one to call BS on posts. I just don't really see the point. But OP going into detail on her new love life in both updates was just kind of It's rubbing me the wrong way. Interesting. So people are thinking this is a lie. That's the most annoying thing ever, is when you see the comments and they're saying that it's a lie, and then now I am questioning my entire life. Like, that's so annoying. I don't want to be reading lies. That's literally rude. I really hope she's not lying, but I don't really see a world in which she's lying about that. It's not like the craziest story ever. Like, oh, he cheated with the nanny. Oh my God. Like, I mean, who has so much time in their hands to make up a story like that? This is so... Okay, we're gonna find another story. But basically my comments on that are, I really hope that is not fake. And I'm so glad, if it is real, then I'm really glad that she left that man's. Because there's no reason for her to be with him. Like, what? I don't care. I'm an American and I want to be a little American housewife, but there's no way in which I would ever forgive someone for that. Like, absolutely no way. I just don't see, like, what are people talking about? It's crazy to me. Okay, next story. Let's read a good one. Let's read, like, one of the ones that I have saved from, like, a long time ago. Oh, you know what? We're gonna read that one. That's a good one. Why am I typing like this? Like a little idiot. Okay. My husband is cheating on me with my best friend. These stories honestly make me cringe, because I'm like, am I gonna get cheated on? I mean, there are so many damn ass cheating stories on this Reddit fucking shit. Okay, this was posted a year ago, so it's kind of a long time, but I'm pretty sure there's some updates, hopefully recent ones. I'm honestly not sure where to start, so I guess I'll just start. My husband and I have been dating since I was 19 and he was 22. We've been married for 6 years now. We have 2 kids, and I'm 6 months pregnant with our third. 2 years ago, I found out my dad has stage 3 colon cancer. My dad is my only parent, as my mom passed away when I was 12. He's my favorite human being, and life without him just doesn't seem as colorful. His laugh is contagious, and he gives these big bear hugs that seem to make all of your broken pieces feel like they're perfectly in place again. Whenever I've had a hard day, he doesn't poke and prod and just lets me vent and listens. About 5 months ago, we discovered the treatments weren't working for him. In an indirect quote of the doctor, he said, months, not years. Since then, he's gotten progressively worse and now is losing memory. He looked at the dog he got me for my 21st birthday and said, wow, that's a nice dog. Where'd you get it? My husband has been my absolute rock. He has been there for me, holding my hand and helping me through this. He's been so loving and attentive to both my kids and I. Don't get me wrong, I am a mother first always. I don't allow myself to wallow. My kids are still loved, cared for, played with, and I haven't let my load slack around the house. Once my dad got his updated prognosis, my husband encouraged me to quit my job. About a month later, we discovered we were pregnant again, and I still hadn't let go of my job. I kept holding out for some reason. After finding out I was pregnant again, he assured me it was still okay to quit my job, that honestly, it would save us a small fortune on daycare costs anyways. So I did. I quit my job. My best friend and I have been friends since diapers. Her family is like my family and vice versa. My mom and her mom grew up together. We've always been solid, and right after my dad's appointment, when we found out he had so little time left, I drove straight to her house, and she held me while I cried for hours. If there are soulmates in friend form, she was mine. Thick as thieves is what my mom used to say. This morning, I was up with my 3-year-old. He's sick. My husband's work alarm was going off. He has a few set, so I turned that one off and gently woke him up. He said he was up late working, so he took the morning off, rolled over, and went back to sleep. As I went to turn off the remainder of his alarms, I saw a text from my friend on his lock screen that said, I'm assuming since there hasn't been any angry pregnant lady on my doorstep, you haven't told her about us yet. Time froze in that moment. I took his phone and walked away and just read their conversations. 4 months this man has been fucking my best friend. 4 months these people have been lying to my face. And I know what you're going to say. You should have seen the warning signs, but I've been clutching this phone in my hand for 2 hours and nothing. He has been so loving and attentive to me, but he always has been. So kind and gentle. There's been no late night work nights, except for once in a blue moon. There's been no lingering touches between them or even glances. They act as they have since the first day I introduced them. How sick is it that she calls him her brother, but she screws him? I know so many people get a moment of clarity in situations like this, but I have none. Aside from being sad about my dad, I haven't changed. I'm still a loving wife and mother. I still doted on him and my children. I talk to him about how he is doing and how was his day every freaking day. I haven't allowed the ground to swallow me whole. I know what I have to do now, but I just don't want to. I'm about to lose my family and my support system in one blow. I'll confront him tomorrow. Today I just need this last 24 hours of peace. And as for her, I won't give her the satisfaction of a response. I don't care why she did it. She did it, and it's done. I was always the friend who cleaned up her messes, and after today, I will cut her out of my life like she never mattered at all. This has to be the hardest storm I'll ever weather, but damn, I know it'll sail through, if not for me, for my children. Love that for you, queen. That's like the biggest betrayal. And that reminds me so much of, well, not really, because it's not like the same relationship between the friends, but like the Vanderpump Rules, if anyone watches that. I only started watching after the whole Scandival thing happened, and I just recently went back and watched season 10 because I really I've been watching season 11, which is the newest season, but I really wanted to see like how they interacted in season 10, and I know that they have edited it post like everyone finding out about the scandal, and it is so interesting, and it's so good to watch, but it's just so crazy. It's like there were signs, but no one saw them because you trust your friends, right? Like, I would never, I don't know why I'm yawning right now. I would never expect my friend to do that, and I would definitely never expect my partner to do that. If anything, like, I mean, if you have any doubt in your mind, and she didn't, which is the thing, like, she really did not know until that, like, she didn't have any suspicions until she saw that phone, which is crazy that he wouldn't, like, silence her messages. I mean, not to say, like, not for me to give advice to cheaters, but it's crazy because you would think that, like, if your wife who you're literally married to looks over at your phone for 1 second and a message pops up from this woman, that's like textbook 101. How do you not know that? Okay, so she commented an update. A small update about everything going on since my kids are now in bed for the night. I spent the morning gathering everything I could and making a checklist. I sat in my office for the better part of the morning telling my husband that I was preparing things for my dad. Not a total lie, I did have to get him sorted with the hospice today. My boss would be happy to have me back, however, my lawyer said pump the brakes on that idea for the time being. However, my old boss did tell me that whenever I'm ready, the door is open and to just give her a call. He does not have access to my inheritance from my father and nor my mother. My lawyer assured me in that. I didn't mention her in the post, but my mother-in-law is an absolute angel. I love and adore her so much, and she's always been a shoulder to lean on. After he had gone to work for the afternoon, I asked my now ex-best friend's mom and my mother-in-law to meet me at my dad's house. My kids were outside playing with now ex-BFF's older brother. I just handed them the screenshots, saving them from the unsavory pictures and sex tape, though I did tell them it existed. To say they were furious was an understatement, and they're on my side completely. Angie, my now ex-best friend's mom, is ready to cut contact with her daughter completely. She kept repeating how sorry she was. We hugged and cried together, and my mother-in-law told me she couldn't believe she raised a spineless, terrible human, that no matter what happens, I will always have her, and as far as she's concerned, she doesn't have a son, only a daughter. Oh my God, these girls are slaying. That's crazy. I feel like so many moms will just be apologists for their kids and be like, oh, you should forgive. Like in all the other stories I've read, I feel like all the moms are like, forgive and forget. No. After an in-person meeting with my lawyer, we went over finances, logistics, and everything you could think of. She has all the proof and she's out for blood. What? Oh, her lawyer is a girl. I don't know why. I was confused. With this post now on TikTok, I don't want him to find out by an app because one look at the story and he'd know it was about him. With permission from my lawyer, my ex-best friend, her mom and dad, my soon-to-be ex, and his parents will be having a get-together tomorrow. By the time they're sitting down and showing them everything and that I know, my dad, my kids, and my ex-BFF's brother, he's coming to help me juggle the kids, and my dad, being big and pregnant, doesn't help with mobility. We'll be at my dad's cabin a few hours away, enjoying time and space. I know a lot of people were hoping for me to get revenge or do psychological warfare, but honestly, after my kids went to bed, I took a shower and just broke. I don't have the strength or energy to dish anything out. I just want out. Pretending like everything was okay today was too exhausting, and I just don't want to do it. Once he finds out tomorrow, I'll update with the aftermath, as I'm sure it will be huge. As for now, thank you to all so much for your kindness, warmth, and support. Truly, your words have helped giving me the strength to keep my head above water. I appreciate every single last one of you for everything. That's nice. At least people are being nice to these people. Let's go look for her update. Ugh. Anticipated. We get into Jake. Oh, what? That was 3 months ago. All right, let's see. What's the update? Oh my God, wait. His new girlfriend? What? Wait, I'm so confused. What's happening right now? Okay. Just wanted to come back for a small update. Baby is here. He was born slightly premature, but no NICU stay was needed. He was 5 pounds, 9 ounces, and 19 inches, and absolutely beautiful. Angie was in the room with me when I had him, while mother-in-law stayed with the other littles. My older two are obsessed with their baby brother, and it makes my heart happy. Mother-in-law and Angie are taking turns spending the night and days with me for the first 6 weeks until we get acclimated. I told them they didn't have to, but they insisted. Honestly, I'm grateful for it. I can feel the waves of PPD. Ooh, trying to drag me under, and my mental health really hasn't been doing so good. Don't worry, my therapist knows we're working through it. Knowing that this baby never gets to know and feel the love of my dad has really been hurting, and the fact that this is the only grandbaby he didn't get to meet, I miss him like crazy and wish he was still there. Jake was planning on staying in for another 2 years to retire, but they offered him early retirement, not because anything going on with me or this whole situation. There was a situation at work. He didn't do anything wrong, lol. So within the next 6 months, he'll be moving back home. He's going to try house hunting and find a place before he comes home. But since he isn't allowed to take any leave during this time to view places since he has to work on his exit stuff, there's a chance he'll be temporarily living with me until he finds a place. No, he isn't moving in permanently, lol. He might even just get an apartment for a year and then buy a house. There's also some drama with Tyler already because he's pissed I wouldn't let him in the room when I had the baby. So if you want more updates on that front, I'll provide when I'm not overwhelmed. Love you all. Thank you for being an ear when I need to vent. Who is Jake and Tyler? Tyler is the ex, I'm assuming. And Jake is who? Hey, Jake is still in camp. I'm guessing Jake is her new boyfriend. Dang, she moved on quick. I mean, power to you, girl, but that's crazy. Tyler discovered the post. Ooh. All the updates are out of order, and I'm so sorry. It's genuinely making me upset right now. This was a month after, and she says, not much has happened, but here are the things that have happened. Tyler discovered the post and asked me if I was seeking a divorce. I said I was. He apologized for losing his cool, asked if there was any hope for reconciliation. I said no. We did have a conversation about the kids, and he'll be allowed to see them with supervision, to which he agreed to. I had another meeting with my lawyer. Nothing of major importance happened. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, has happened with Jake. Who is Jake? You say Tyler discovered the post, and then you say Jake. I am confused, guys. I'm sorry, but who's Jake? As you can tell, I don't have much comprehension skills. So like that's stressing me out because I don't remember who is who. But if you do, then let me know in the comments below. All right. I think we'll do one more story. I would say would be good. Let's do okay. And let me know next time if you want me to kind of prepare better and read the updates to any of the stories that I read today in a more organized fashion. Let me know and I will for you. I do need to start organizing more because really all I've been doing is I just have so many things saved that I don't really want to like pick. I just like to like go and then feel it out and see like what I feel like is like a good story to go with the episode. But I should just plan on reading a certain amount and certain stories so that I'm not like so confused and like what the hell, who's Jake and Tyler. But Okay, we're going to read this Am I the Asshole post. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that she was dating my biological father? So, my life's turned into a bloody soap opera recently, and I could use some outside opinions here. I, 24 female, am the product of my mom having an affair. Fortunately, my dad decided to forgive my mom and keep me, and I had a pretty good upbringing, and I'm assuming she does not mean her biological dad. Her mom's husband that she cheated on is her father that I think she's referring to. But I don't really look a lot like the rest of my family. I'm the only redhead, and among other things, and I did ask a lot of questions of why I am the only one with insert trait here. When I was 17, my mom took me out for ice cream and introduced me to my biological father. She said that she felt I was old enough to know the truth and explained about her affair while also A, making me promise I wouldn't tell my older sister, who's 27 female in the present, and B, hammering home along with my bio father that he'd never be a part of my life and didn't want me. It was a lot, I won't lie, but I learned to suck it up and move on with my life. Fast forward to the present, my big sister has always gravitated towards older men. We like to joke that it's the result of too many George Clooney movies growing up. And 2 months ago, shared a picture of herself and her new boyfriend, who to my shock turned out to be my biological father. I debated what to do for a couple of days, then ultimately decided that she needed the truth, and I told her. My sister did not take it well and dumped him, but she wasn't angry with me. Honestly, by now, she's kind of amused. She says that since she banged my dad, she's my mom and has extra power to boss me around now. My mom, on the other hand, is furious. She says I divulged something that wasn't my secret to share, and that I had no business telling anyone. That since my biological father isn't related to my sister, it didn't matter if he dated my sister, and it wasn't like they were talking about marriage anyway. It's been 2 months and she's still angry, still snide, calls me a traitor, and finds excuses to make loud comments about how I can't be trusted with anything private or important, so beware. At the time, I thought I was doing the right thing, but I've never seen my mom this angry before, and she's sustained that anger for a solid 2 months, so I'm starting to worry. Did I actually do something really shitty? Am I the asshole? Girl, kick that mother to the curb. She is crazy. If you think that this is not her business to share, what do you mean? That's literally her dad that her sister is dating. Like, pretty sure that if her sister found out that that was her dad and knew that her sister knew, she'd probably be like, what the hell? Why wouldn't you tell me that? Like, that is crazy. Like, please. You're not the asshole. Genuinely, there's no world in which you are the asshole. Like, the mom is the asshole 1000%. I mean, I'm sorry you cheated on your husband and you had a baby. And you're making it everyone else's problem. You haven't learned. Like, you obviously haven't grown at all. And that is so scary because you are a grown woman. Just accept the fact that you made a mistake and you had a baby because of that mistake. And now you just have to accept the consequences. And what is the worst? Like, the dad knows already. So why does it matter if the sister knows? And also, why would you want your daughter to be dating someone that you have a kid with? Because that is weird. Imagine if they did get married and then you were like, oh, who does that make their kid? Like, what if they got married and then had a kid and then it's like, that's my grandchild, but also, I mean, I guess wait, what? That would be this girl's like sibling and niece or nephew. That is so crazy, actually, to think about. This mom needs to go to therapy or something and like learn how to accept that she's the one in the wrong about the whole situation, and sometimes you just have to accept the consequences when you do things wrong. Is it the worst thing in the world? Okay, let's read the top comment. The top comment says, not the asshole. She needed to know that. That's weird and a little too close to home. Also, it's kind of messed up that your older sister was never told about this key part of her family history. Also, if your biological father knew who she was in her relationship to you, that's really weird and creepy. Yeah, I agree. That is really weird and creepy because I'm sure she knew. Or he knew. How would he not? Like, I'm sure they've posted photos together, they're sisters. And also, this man is not a good man because he doesn't want anything to do with her sister, and that is enough for me to be like, no, bye. You're a grown man and you told your biological daughter, I don't want anything to do with you ever, and I never will want anything to do with you. That's a bad man right there. And why would you ever want your sister dating that man? I wouldn't. Not in a million years. Okay, another comment says, "What? So she's more ashamed of the affair than the reality that she'll have to embrace her other daughter's father as her maybe son-in-law if the relationship turned into something long-term, or just what if her daughter got pregnant? She'd be the grandmother to her daughter's half-sister. How is any of that not ultimately something she'd have an issue with?" And then OP commented back, "I'm hoping due to her word choices and excuses about how it wasn't a serious relationship, so it wasn't something to worry about, that if things had progressed to engagement, she'd have said something, but my mom's biggest flaw before this was always avoiding things that scared her. Dad had to take over the finances because her avoidance led to some troubles with the credit card companies." What? Okay. So in this story, the mother has some issues. Usually it's the man, but this mom, how old is she? She has a daughter that is 27. So I'm assuming, and 24. This girl's 24. So I'm assuming that she's older, like 50 to 60 range. You should know better, girly. Even I know better, and I'm 26 years old. That could be your daughter. That's crazy. But for real, I think maybe stop talking to your mom, because I can't give that serious advice. But this is how I feel, okay? Not saying to take my advice, and it's not legal advice, but I feel like stop talking to your mom, because she clearly has something. I'm sure she is toxic. She's probably so toxic. Like, if she's saying this, she's trying to make comments anytime she can to say, oh, you can't trust her. I could never imagine my mom. My mom would never say anything even of the slightest. Even if I did something like that. I mean, my mom would just never even be in this situation to begin with. But I would say, like, this is the type of parent that you probably end up cutting contact with because they're so toxic, and you don't want that toxicity in your life anymore. And guess what? You don't have to have that toxicity in your life anymore, because although they're your parent, you can still love them and not like them. And that's something that my therapist told me. Not because of my parent, because of a situation with a friend that I know. And their parents, but because I talked to both my parents, and I would never cut contact with either of them. But yeah, you can still love someone and not like them, because obviously you love them like they're your parent. But if they're treating you this way, then you don't have to have them in your life. Point blank, period. You don't have to have anyone in your life. And although it's like, oh my God, this is so sad. What if they die one day and then you regret not talking to them? They should regret treating you terribly and then not changing, because if they're not going to change and they're not going to put in the work to change and maybe treat you better, then they don't deserve you, and they don't deserve your relationship. I just got a knock on the door. Oh, fuck. I hate that. I'll be right back. Guys, why do I feel like every time I get a knock on the door, even though it is 3 p.m. right now, that I am in a scary movie and I'm about to get literally murdered. Like, that's so scary to me. The worst thing you can do to me is knock on my door and me not know that you're coming, because I should know if you're coming. And of course, that was literally just an Amazon driver, but he knocked like he was like a visitor. Just knock. Just be like, 2 knocks, that's all I need to know that a package is here. I just had to check my phone because my boyfriend was like, sent me this, that there's a package out for delivery. And this man is scary. I tried to look through the peephole, but he was walking away as soon as I went up to the door. The way that I get so scared is actually something I need to talk about in therapy, because I should not be that scared about someone knocking on the door. Like, my heart drops and starts pounding, and there's no way. Sometimes I can't even build up the courage to go look at who is at the door. Like, sometimes I don't even want to look at who is at the door because I feel like they're just gonna like push through the door and then murder me. I'm so dramatic, but truly that's how I feel. And I really thought there was about to be footage of my kidnapping or murder right there, right then and there. And I don't remember what I was talking about before that happened, but not my cat trying to jump up, and he has no room to jump up. Okay, but anyways, I know that I was on a rant about something or another and trying to be inspirational, which I am not inspirational, but I'm gonna say ooh, I'm gonna say I just spilt my entire coffee on the ground. This is a chaotic episode. And I'm going to say that this is the end of the episode because, 1, I have to clean up this entire coffee that I just spilled on the ground. And 2, I have just read a few, probably 3 or 4 stories. I don't remember, but I think that is enough for you guys. And I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you made it to the end, I love you so much. And if you could subscribe, that would be amazing. Like the video, leave a comment, especially because I want to talk to you guys. I'm leaving the Reddit linked below. My socials will be linked below, and the Patreon that you can become a member of Storytime Society member. And yeah, I love you. I'm going to go clean up this coffee. If you have any stories, put it in the Reddit. If you have anything to say to me, let me know. Unless it's mean, don't say it. Just block me and move on, okay? But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Truly appreciate it. Love you. Bye.